Thank you so much for joining me for another gorgeous inner peace talk. Today, my fabulous guest is Karin Hagelin, and she is a most beautiful soul. She is a grief recovery coach and helps us all with stress relief at our fingertips because she's an EFT expert. EFT is Emotional Freedom Technique, and she will sure share more about that. She also lives in Switzerland, and we had coffees in Zurich together, and I can't wait. I think one of the first person I'll have coffee with again will be her. She's originally from Sweden, another country we love so much, especially as the world always mixes us up. Sweden and Switzerland, and she has come to love fondue and all the Swiss ways. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us to come out of that shell-shocked space, that complete, shell shock is the perfect word. And as she will explain to us, when we're in that shell shock mode, we might think, oh, we need to meditate, but it's too far. It's like on the other side. And so she helps us bridge that gap, brings us to a calmer space, to inner peace, so we can meditate and be more joyful again. Karin, what else is there to say about you? I forgot to bring up your lovely bio, so please fill in the gaps I left out.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for having me. I love having our conversations. And let's see what we need to do today.
Perfect. So, how have you sensed people or the energy around us has shifted in the last couple of weeks? What is happening with many people as you see it through your eyes?
I think when stuff started really happening, I mean, we were in Asia in February for a holiday, so we were sort of already in that mode of seeing people with face masks and gloves and all of that happening. So when we came back to Switzerland end of February, that's sort of where we started having the precursors of it might be hitting here too. And then obviously Italy happened. And it was interesting to see as a collective how we almost had a bit of a grief experience. Like had people said a couple of weeks ago that we would conduct meetings online, we weren't able to meet in person, no hugging, no even, being in Swiss culture, handshaking, and that we would only be allowed to go to food shops and pharmacies and nothing else, we would have just said, what? That's not possible. And yet here we are. And I felt like in the beginning, at least, what I sensed, and also from the status of people contacting me, was that people went into basically a shell shock, like deer in headlights kind of mode, like what the
exactly
heck is happening around us. And they started closing off. First it was like 1,000 people could meet, and then it was down to 500, and all of a sudden 50, and all of a sudden the school was shut. I mean, it went so fast. And the first couple of weeks have been almost like coping through, like, what happened to my old life, basically. And I've seen so many articles online now talking about the grief experience. And I've been working with grief for the last 7-8 years professionally. So it was really interesting for me to start seeing like how people started defining grief is not just the loss of human life that we are experiencing, but also the subtle losses of not being able to go for a haircut when I want to, not being able to meet friends and family, not being able to travel abroad that we thought we could, not maybe necessarily because we would have, but the fact that the choice has been taken away from us. So it's all of these little, I mean, from very real losses, like loss of income, loss of business, loss of all of that, but also the subtle losses of choice. I can't, even if I wanted to, could I even fly up to Sweden to see my mom? I don't know. You know, it was just the whole
everything came
situation.
And so much changed, and we had to let go, release of everything.
Exactly.
And also, I think what comes up with all those numbers climbing and climbing, it's the collective grief.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I mean, that is coming up for most of us, or that it might trigger something that has been dormant, a grief of a loved one, maybe many years ago we haven't really looked at, and now all of a sudden that comes back to the surface.
Yes, I mean, you can have a trigger effect as well. Like you say, we might not be facing the illness ourselves, or not even with a loved one, but it triggers within us the same sense of not being in control, fear of the future, that could have come up earlier in life for some reason, but the parameters, the triggers are there, and so we end up maybe feeling stuff that has been buried. And I also see a potential that there might be a lot of post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic grief happening later, now that people will have to say goodbye to their loved ones on FaceTime, and writing messages for doctors and nurses to read up to their loved ones. I mean, it's we haven't experienced this in a very, very long while, because we haven't been at war either. I mean, I'm from Sweden. We haven't been in war for like a couple of 100 years. And now we're in a warlike situation where we just have to put everything on hold. And there will be a lot of things to go through and decompress later.
Yeah, when we're able to grasp, I mean, right now we're sort of flabbergasted, sort of.
Yeah, we're still in
happening, you know?
shock. Especially now with Switzerland, that we got some dates the last couple of days that, you know, next Monday, the 27th of April, we will be able to start slowly, and all of a sudden the school will be open again. So there's a sense of acceptance and normality. So I have the sense that we have now gotten used to where we are right now. So people are starting to reach out and are open for a talk like this as well, because in the beginning we were so shocked, and then we were bombarded with offers of you know, helping ourselves where we're not open to receive that information, because we were so afraid. But now I feel like there's a sense of, oh, now I can take that course, or now I can do that, or now I can read that book, and now I can work on myself a little bit. So it feels like
and now is perfect time to do some stress relief with Karin. So.
Yeah, so like you said in the beginning, like if we are in a state of fear and contraction, basically, it's really hard to sit down on that meditation pillow or take time to do that yoga at home alone, or us who have kids at home running around and competing for our attention. It's so difficult to go from this to this in one go. And I've very often said, way before this happened, that sometimes we are just too in our headspace, we're too in the world, fighting with different aspects of our lives. So it's really hard to go from that state into, I should now be meditating, I should now be calm, I should now be, and a should is never good to have in front of a sentence. So if we can just accept where we are right now and start tapping from that space, and allow ourselves to feel the fear, to feel the uncomfortable feelings, to voice them and give them space. And like, I see you, I hear you, you have a reason to be here. You know, I validate that you are here, instead of just like pushing them away and brushing them off and like, no, I'm you know, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to deal with that. So again, it's easier when I have you in dialogue, Caroline. So is there anything that you feel like we should be tapping on today?
I feel overwhelmed and worries, you know, and this all collects to fear of what happens with my life, with my job. You know, many people have fear of losing their job or their family or even loved ones. You know, many of us have parents or grandparents who are in a high-risk group, and even my mom, she desperately wants to go out now. She thinks, oh yeah, next week I can go out and travel to Zurich. I says, no, you're not. You know, but it's that still, maybe some people are sort of cabin fever, you know, that's another stressor, that they can't leave their home, or maybe some part of a rebellious side that needs to calm down, or a fear in some countries, luckily here in Switzerland, but the fear of the government taking too much advantage, you know, or we never have a democracy anymore, or, you know, all these kind of collective stuff. If you lose trust maybe in your own guidance, or trust in the belief that all will be well eventually, and all these kind of things.
Okay. So if we just look at the overwhelm, let's start there, because there are different viewers, they have different things. So we'll use a fairly broad language. So if you look at the overwhelm of all of that going on, and just take a minute to just close your eyes and check in where that is in the body. Does it make itself present somewhere? Is there a physical pain in the body? Is there contraction in the body? Is it, you know, do you feel it in the stomach area? Do you feel it in the chest area? Is the head spinning and can't calm down with the thoughts? What's going on right here?
So I feel it here as a tightening in my chest area. And I just try to do it collectively, you know, more on a energetic base. Yeah, it's sort of like the heaviness of breathing, sort of like it's suffocating.
Yeah.
And the tightness, like a
yeah. Okay, so we're just going to start tapping. I know that many EFT techniques, they start on the side of the hand. I skip that point. You can use it as an everyday point, but I don't use it when I work. So we're going to go to the eyebrow point first. So right where the eyebrow starts, left or right side, doesn't matter. You just tap what's comfortable for you. And then we're just going to state what's going on. So you repeat after me, Caroline. All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelm.
And then we go to the side of the eye on the bony part. All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelm.
Underneath your eye, also on the bony part, I feel the tightness in my chest.
I feel the tightness in my chest.
Underneath your nose. It's almost hard to take a deep breath.
It's almost hard to take a deep breath.
Under your mouth, in the crease here. All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelm.
Now you go to the collarbone point. You can just tap around, following your collarbone, just underneath your collarbone. All this overwhelm I'm feeling right now.
All this overwhelm I'm feeling right now.
Top of head, right on the crown. I can feel the whole collective overwhelm.
I can feel the whole collective overwhelm.
Now we go to the eyebrow again. It's this tightness in the chest.
The tightness in the chest.
Side of eye. All this fear.
All this fear.
Under your eye. What's going to happen to us all?
What's going to happen to us all?
Under your nose. What's going to happen to the world?
What's going to happen to the world?
Under your eye, mouth. Will I be safe?
Will I be safe?
Collarbone. Will my family be safe?
Will my family be safe?
Top of head. Will my country be safe?
Will my country be safe?
All this overwhelm.
All this overwhelm.
And now you just take your hand down and take a deep breath. And out. And again, now you just scan the body and see what's going on with your thoughts, what's happening in the chest area, and the rest of the body. Just check in with yourself. Maybe there's a new layer, new emotion, new contraction.
I think now it's sort of like a gripping fear in my solar plexus, sort of really holding tight.
Okay, so just start tapping immediately and just talk me through that, because I think we all can feel that. What's going on in the solar plexus? This tightness, this fear.
This tightness, it feels like a fist is tightening it.
Okay, side of eye. Describe it in as much detail as you can.
Or like there's a big boulder sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Under your eye. Now, what is that boulder doing? Is it just lying still or is it moving?
It's sort of weighing down and it makes it hard to breathe again.
Mm-hmm. Under your nose. And what does the color of this boulder? Do you have a color or a shade?
Gray.
Mm-hmm. Under your mouth. So this gray, big boulder that makes it hard to breathe. In your solar plexus.
The big boulder that makes it so hard to breathe in my solar plexus.
Collarbone. I wonder why it's there.
I wonder why it's there.
Top of head. What is it trying to tell me?
What is it trying to tell me?
Maybe it's trying to make me aware of something.
Maybe it's trying to make me aware of something.
Maybe it's time to listen in.
Maybe it's time to listen in.
And now we're going to put the hand down again and take a deep breath. And just see if you can focus on the solar plexus and that big boulder that is weighing you down. It's hard to breathe and we can all feel this collective fear. And just see if it has a message. Let's give it some air space, air time.
It's telling me it's not my weight to carry.
Okay.
It's just like it's, yeah. And also I think it's telling me or telling each one of us as I try to sense into the collective that it's time to look after ourselves and more in the inside than always in the outside. Sort of like we have to come back to what is true to us.
Okay, we're going to do some more tapping, but I just want to share, when we go on airplanes, the air stewardess, they always tell us to put the oxygen mask on first. And why? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you stay conscious to help assist others. If we weren't putting the mask on ourselves first, we would just go into, we would fall unconscious and we can't help anyone around us, not a single soul. So from that perspective, maybe it's our duty to help ourselves a little bit now so that we can be there, and especially your audience that are out there providing help and guidance to other people. And if we are not having enough oxygen to breathe, we can't hold space for other people because they will feel the contraction that we are holding on to as well. So we're going to do another round of tapping. So just repeat after me. Dear Boulder.
Dear Boulder.
Side of eye. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Thank you so much for reminding me.
Under your eye, I can feel the whole collective contraction.
I can feel the whole collective contraction.
Under your nose, I can feel the fear.
I can feel the fear.
Under your mouth, it's so real.
It's so real.
Collarbone, people's lives are at stake.
People's lives are at stake.
People's livelihood are at stake.
People's livelihood are at stake.
Thank you so much for reminding me.
Thank you so much for reminding me.
That this is not my weight to carry right now.
This is not my weight to carry right now.
I can feel it.
I can feel it.
But I choose not to be weighed down by it.
I choose not to be weighed down by it.
I thank it for reminding me.
Thank it for reminding me.
That I need to breathe and take care of myself right now.
That I need to breathe and take care of myself right now.
So that I can be there for others too.
So that I can be there for others too.
It's only natural that we are contracted and in fear right now.
It's only natural that we are contracted and in fear right now.
But that is why I'm collecting tools.
But that is why I'm collecting tools.
So that I can help myself.
So I can help myself.
So I can be present.
So I can be present.
And eventually hold space for others too.
And eventually hold space for others too.
It's time to put my oxygen mask back on.
It's time to put my oxygen mask back on.
And breathe some really nice deep breaths.
And breathe some really nice deep breaths.
Thank you, Boulder, for reminding me.
Thank you, Boulder, for reminding me.
I choose to let you go for now.
Just to let you go for now.
And now take a deep breath again. And just see how your solar plexus is doing right now.
Sort of vibrating with joy and sort of, deep compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dancing.
Yeah. Because, empathic, compassionate people, obviously we feel and we might be in fear because of very real reasons in our lives too. Good. Like with physical pain, when we contract and we don't take breaths, it's going to be even more painful. The second you realize that, you know, we can snap out of it and start breathing, the pain can sort of subside and leave. And that's why tapping, I feel, is the tool to sort of at least bring you back into your body and just like state what is happening right now. And it's okay to feel what you're feeling. And then thank it for reminding you, and then let it go. And then sit down and meditate.
Mm. Yeah, this is so wonderful, because acknowledging the feelings is something I share also all the time. So so often to push it down. Oh, I'm not supposed to feel fear, or I'm always supposed to feel good, but this is not real life. So acknowledging them and always sharing their gifts. What is it that you want to share with us or with me? And just it maybe for people sometimes it's hard to do EFT on their own, but just speak. You can just tap through it and just say, oh, I feel so tired, or even, I mean, if you have a sore throat, or I'm so worried about my mom or something, you can just tap to and say something. You don't have to, it's not complicated to
no, there's no script or no secret to it. I normally say, like a rule of thumb, you can even do it physically. It's like calling your best friend and just tap and just say what you normally say to your friend on the phone, and tap while talking. Either mentally talk to your friend or actually call them, because I mean, if you know, on a video call, they can't see what you're doing anyway. If you are on a video call, you have the opportunity to show them that there's a really good tool to calm down. But basically, I feel so much fear right now. My business is not going well, and I'm so worried. And where am I going to get the rent next month? And da 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 da. And really just state what is really there right now. Because if you resist, they persist, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same, it's the same with all of these emotions. And we are in a human body, in this human spacesuit, and we just have to take the whole package as it is and just say, okay, I am in fear right now. I'm just going to toss everything and just go and look for a real job or whatever, and just tap that through, and then breathe, and then see what comes up. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, it's just our brain is wired that way. And when we are in fear, either for ourselves or for the collective, it's like a firewall goes down to all of our good ideas and our problem solving and all of that stuff in the prefrontal cortex here. And we react from the dinosaur brain. Mm-hmm. And that is fear-based and survival-based. And we will just go into that mode. And we can't create from there. And when you tap, they've actually redone the study now. When you tap, your cortisol level, the stress hormone cortisol, drops with an average of 43% in your bloodstream while tapping. So when you reduce the cortisol, the firewall goes up and you get access to your logical thinking brain again, where you can create and ask for help and help others.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing something for your health, because being in constant stress is really, really bad. Yeah. So how can people find you? I heard you have a brand new, and it's such a gorgeous, beautiful website. It's karinhagelin.com. And you also offer free introduction calls. So anybody who feels called to, drawn to Karin and her gorgeous energy, and is in stress mode, fear mode, or just a little bit, just wants to release something or come back to a better place, or grief is coming up, she is your gorgeous lady.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is there a link on your website? I will be sharing it in the comments also.
No, it's brand new. I'm actually launching it today because it's new moon today. So I'm just going to launch it in that energy. So it's karinhagelin.com or .ch, as we are in Switzerland. And I always offer a free discovery session. So if you got an idea, like I would like to try this myself on my own issue and not just watch a video, you're more than welcome to write to me and say, listen, I would like to try this. And especially now that we have this time and we can, I work so much online, so that is not a problem either. And I can feel the collective, again, consciousness really latching on, and the knowledge is now there to do stuff over the internet as well. So, germ-free. So please reach out. And if you have questions, or there are so many resources on my website as well that you can look at. So yes, it's brand new. I'm very grateful to my design team for helping me. Yeah, and thank you for holding this space, Karin.
Thank you for coming here and being a wonderful guest on my show. And I'm deeply honored to know you as a person and as a gorgeous soul sister and friend too. So
the same to you.
Thank you all for being here. And if you have any questions or comment, reach out to us and we'll come back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a lovely day now.